Everyone, I guess we are live, and this is actually a very unplanned live. Yes, we are live. This is actually a very unplanned live. I was just like, yeah, we were building this app, and let's try to finish this as soon as we can. So yeah, I think it's going to be fun, and it's not going to be a long live. I'll just try to finish it. Like if I get some time, I'll just try to do it as soon as I can, as much as I can, because you know there is no silence right over here. Everybody's awake. So we were building this Colornote clone with Zata and Next.js. Let's see. So right over here. Now, in the previous stream, what we did is we set up authentication so that users can sign up and they can log in as well. But this time, what I'm planning to do is at least start with some basic, maybe creating a note. We can do that. Let's see, I'll just add an empty table. Is anybody here? Yes, we have 2 concurrent viewers. Nice to see. Hey, tell hi in the chat. Hey, Ahmed. Nice to see you. Okay, table name. Let's call this notes. So right over here, I'll just add some stuff in there. So first off, there is going to be the title, which is going to be not null, and by default it's going to be untitled. Let's keep it untitled. And then there's going to be the actual note content. So I'm just going to call this content. This is also going to be not null and empty string by default. Okay, now then there's also going to be one color, which do we have enum? No, we don't have enum. So let's just set the color property and not null, and by default it's going to be yellow because yellow is the color that people choose usually for notes. Let's hit create column. If you have any questions, drop it right over here in the chat. Let's see, what else do we need? We also need the user ID. So yeah, the connection with the users table, link to another table. The column name is going to be user ID, and select the table NextAuth users. Create a column. Okay, we have a lot of stuff. I did not mean to do that, but anyways, it's still going to be fun. So let's go ahead and do this one more time. All right, so now I think it should be good if I generate some random data. So 25 rows. No, let's add 2 rows. I'll just hit generate. Now the user ID and all that stuff is null, but I think we can edit that. Why is it null? Yeah, we can select this. Fine. Let's select this. And now that we have some random data, let's also start working on what's called displaying these notes. So it's going to be fun. First off, let's see. One more tool I just found out. I don't remember the name. Okay, wait. Yeah, here it is. It's called NextFetch, and the beauty of NextFetch is that if you know about TRPC, this is like TRPC, but it is not TRPC. Like you have your normal API routes, and you can fetch from your API routes with type safety, which is the thing that I loved about this one. So let's go ahead and install these. It's called nextfetch/swr. Okay, so we have 2 options, either swr or React query. Let's check it on npm if we have it. Okay, fine. So I'll just npm install this one and the other dependency called Zod. So these are the two dependencies we'll need. And so we have pages API message swrtsx. So basically what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to create an API route which goes under pages API, and I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this notes, and in here I'm going to create a file called get, and it's going to be .swr.ts. So let's see how it looks like. I'm just going to copy this. Okay, wait a minute. Use message. So this is a custom hook, next plus next fetch, and that's normal plain Next.js. All right, so fine, we have query. So this is what we are doing. We are querying something, and we don't need any input validation, do we? Yeah, how do we check with with uh with this, what is it, I forget the name, Xata, that if a user is signed in or not? Actually, we don't need Xata for that. We need NextAuth. So bad. So if I go ahead and search for, let's see, we have TypeScript REST API. There's a client API and there's the REST API. But I think there should be something that helps out with. We have providers, we have options. Let's see. API. Get server session. Then you have request response and auth options. So I have to import the auth options from that file as well. Let's see if that actually works, if I can do that. So we have this and exports this NextAuth. Get server session. Okay, so basically we can just extract the auth options into a separate variable. Let's do that real quick. So I'm just going to cut this out. I'm going to say const auth options is going to be this, and then just pass in auth options down there. But let's also type this out with auth options like so. Cool. But we are not exporting this, so let's just go ahead and export this constant. Now that we have exported that, we can import it successfully. So we can import something from dot dot slash, actually not dot dot slash, but we could just rather say slash pages API. We have auth and NextAuth. So we could import auth options. Let's see what else we have. Then we have get server session. Now that's something we have to do inside of this main, inside of this function. I don't think we also need validation, so we don't need this anymore. So we also have this dot request. That's nice. All right, now that that is done, let's do this. Const session is going to be equal to await get server session. Wow, it takes in nothing. Okay, it might take in something, but let's see. I'm just going to console log session to just see if it actually works. And how are we going to call it? If we go to pages index, oh, actually not index, but inside of just page, what we can do is we can create a component that's going to do the fetching for us. So I'll just go ahead and say notes tsx, and then just like greet, we are going to create this component notes. Actually, what we can do is we can get rid of the use session. Hey Code Arena. Now if the viewers don't know, these two people have really great channels. I'll just open that up. So there is Code Arena official, and she makes a lot of videos about HTML and CSS. So she's just starting out and does a lot of that content. So make sure to give her a sub. And same goes for Ahmed Gagan. Let's just search it. So this is his channel. Make sure to give him a sub too, because he makes a lot of Flutter content and some Vue.js and React Native content with Swift UI. Like, he has a variety of content there. Fine. Now let's get back to where we were. I'm just going to say a notes page, and let's see how we put this to use. So we can just import this from API routes. So I'm just going to say const notes equals to not await but use, what is it? What did we name this? Should we use message? Should we use posts or use notes instead? So we could just say use notes, and then we can import the use notes. In here we don't need to pass anything, but it will just send a normal request, and that's all we need. Let's go back in here and let's hit a refresh. Let's see. Okay, fine. We get nothing in the console. We actually did console log it, but oh, because we are not using this component right away. My bad. Fine. Now it must work. All right. Finally, we got an error. That's a sign of success. It says the code path should not be reached. Yes, I use React. This is React. You might be new to JavaScript. Are you new to JavaScript? What does this error actually mean? We have, I think maybe it does not work with I think we'd have to remove that. Same error. Let's see, the code path should not be reached. Interesting. Maybe we did something wrong in here. Let's just find this inside of issues. Code path. This code path. That's new. And this is so stressful when using something very new. Maybe it does not work with Next.js app directory. Let's see, there's SSR, there's, when was it last updated? 2022. No. Maybe it does not work with Next.js app directory. Well, in that case, I guess we'd have to use the normal API routes, which is fine. You know, I did mind that before, but now I don't think I have a choice. Let's just cut this and put this right over here. We don't need most of it. All right, so you might be seeing that this PC has been lagging very badly right now. And yes, that happens sometimes when I try to live stream. Sorry. Also, let's send a response. I'll just restart and okay. Okay, now that we don't have use nodes, let's get rid of that. But now we can at least use what's called SWR. So I'll just install SWR and then I'll import use SWR from SWR. And then what we can do is we can just say const something equals to use SWR slash API slash. We also have to rename this, so get.ts. I think this should work. I know that it needs a fetcher function, but you know, if it works out, then why bother? Using JavaScript, yes, I just finished a course about JavaScript and now I want to learn a framework. Wow, you finished a JavaScript course. That's great, because finishing a JavaScript course is just like you have to do a lot. You have to do a lot of things in order to finish a JavaScript course. You might have built some projects in vanilla JavaScript, right? If you have done that before, like you've built a few projects in vanilla JavaScript, then you can go ahead and jump on to React, because that knowledge of vanilla based JavaScript is going to help you a lot in this. All right, so here I don't think we are getting any response. Then I guess it will be really nice for you to jump onto frameworks. There might be times where you won't understand it because it will be different than what you usually do in vanilla JavaScript. You have to do get element by ID and all that stuff in vanilla JS, but in frameworks it's totally different. Like you get control over everything. Let's just call this URL. So yeah, if you are done with vanilla JavaScript, you can jump onto React. But also remember to learn TypeScript, because that is a hell of an experience learning TypeScript. It says get 404. What's wrong? Oh, because that's slash API slash notes get. Oh man, I could have used that before. No. This is fine. Let's see. Now we get the 500 internal server error method error, which means something is wrong. I'll just be back just a moment. All right, so I'm back, and let's start working on this. Is used in a React server component. What do you mean? This is not a server component. This is a function. I'll just rename this function to, let's see, get notes, and this get server session. I'll just do the normal request, response, and auth options. All right, finally we got this. So we got a user with the name, email, and image. Fine. So all we have to do is we have to check if the user dot id is equal to, but the id isn't stored. That's not good. So what can we do with that? Oh, because we store, I think we return the user. NextAuth users record. Anyways, so this session has user, and for now we could just compare it with the email. So user dot email, and we could just first of all yeah, first off we could check if there is no session, then we're gonna return. So if not session, we're gonna return res dot status. It's going to be 400, just that. And so now if there is a session, what we are going to do is we're going to now fetch the other these to do. So let's get the code snippet for these. So we have query all records. Actually, we want to do the same thing that we did, right? I guess right in here, where we get the client, and for that we will have to go ahead and say Xata code gen to generate the code for us. So we'd have to go ahead and create a client. So I'll say const client equals new Xata client, and then what we can do is we can say const, what is it, it's notes, that will be equal to await client dot db dot notes dot filter. So we are going to filter it with the filter, there is user id dot email, which is going to be session dot user dot email, and then we can find, or actually get all. Once we get all to do's, we are just going to send these, and let's also console log this for convenience. That does send a request, and here we go, we finally get this. This is actually very nice. That was quick. I like the experience of Xata. It's amazing. Anyways, getting back, so we have notes that we are fetching from this API route, and basically this is the notes, and actually we should type this out. So if I go back in here, the type of this is read only selected pick notes record. Let's see how we can use TypeScript in here. Okay, we have user model. I think the stream is not going well. Is the stream laggy somehow? Hey Muzammil, how are you doing? Is the stream somehow laggy? Or is it working just fine? Ooh, all right. YouTube is not. All right, fine. So, where were we? We were back in this Xata. So, what I want is type safety somehow. So, we have TypeScript client, we have configuration, creating data, getting data, searching, transactions. I guess I should be able to somehow import these types. So, if I go back in here, if I want to import something from at slash Xata, let's see what I can import. Okay, fine, we have types. So it's called notes. Now the problem is this is the notes component. Xata is used for database, so it's just a better database. It's actually it uses Postgres under the hood. So if you know what Postgres database is, you can learn more about Xata just on their website. So instead of using a traditional database, Xata configures everything for you and then gives it back. It gives you back a really nice API which is easy to work with. So yeah, now we could just go ahead and make a check, like a little check right over here. So let's create a div and I'll say if not notes, then we're going to just display a p tag with loading, and else we're going to just, let's see, else we're going to map over the notes. Notes.map, for each node we're going to display a div tag, and inside of each div tag we're going to say note dot title, and for the key we'll say note, whoops, what's wrong, note dot id. Seems simple and fine. So we get back an error, not a problem. So we get back notes as an object, yes, so we have to fix that first. So it should be notes. It says finally we got our two nodes. Now let's work on styling these nodes, because right now it looks very simple. It's just basic text, nothing else. So let's create one more component. I'm going to call this note single note. This is going to return back. Now we could go back to Daisy UI and pick a card of our choice. If you have some suggestions or something that you want to know, let me know in the chat. If you have any questions, ask that. Don't hesitate to ask a question. So inside of props, you're going to get a note, which is going to be of type note. Notes. Yes. Fine with that. So in here, we could just render out the single note with the note prop, and the key should be note.id. In here, we could just set the title to be note.title. In here, we could set the note.content, but the note.content should not be like this. So we are going to slice it up. We're going to start from 0 to about 15 characters, just that for now. And we'll just say read. Let's see how that goes. Looks fine. At least to me, it looks fine. But we have to fix that. So we have a bunch of colors right over here. So if you just take some time to see the colors, we'll choose these colors, or we are going to pick some other colors. All right, so we have, for our note taking app, I mean for our Colornote, we are going to have a few colors: yellow, black, red, all those basic colors. The theme that I'm using right now is dark plus v2 experimental. Now this is not this theme is simply just available in VS Code. It's called dark plus version 2. You don't have to install this, it's just available, so you can just switch to this theme. Okay, let's see. So maybe let's actually make this dynamic, shall we? Or not for now. Let's work on what's called the basic stuff, that is making it look better. So let's see, Tailwind CSS grid, because grid is what we are going to use now. All right, specifying the column, so it's just going to be fairly simple. This should be in curly braces. So now this is going to have a class name of grid. Grid calls 4. Let's keep it 4, and then it's going to have a gap of 4 as well. Yep, I guess gap should be 10 or 15. And also, as a side note, this div should contain some margin top of 10. Yes. What's wrong with this? We have grid. I don't think these divs are getting inside of the grid. Let's also add a few more data inside of here. So I'll just, can I add more dummy data? Should have done that before. Anyways, let's see. Right now for the color, there is, let's just keep this yellow and let's keep this blue. And for these ones, I'm going to just say lorem ipsum whatever random text. For this one, the color is going to be red and the user is going to be this one. Then let's add one more, another note, and this is going to have some more random stuff in there. The color this time is going to be green and the user is going to be the same one. All right, so now if I go back, you'll see two more. That's the beauty. The question arises, how do we exactly use grid the way we want to use? Because right now this looks terrible. Oh, maybe, yeah, my bad. So gap 15, maybe there is there is nothing like gap 15. Fine, now let's work on the colors. So I think I should pick the colors. So if I, the Dracula theme colors or color palette. All right, so we have green, orange, all these good looking colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Tailwind configuration and I'm just going to add, I'm going to extend these colors. So first off, there's going to be yellow, which is going to be this one. Then we have red. So red is going to be this one. I think I should add all these colors. All of these look good. Let's see. So now we have green. And finally, I don't think we have blue, but we have cyan. So I think I should label this as blue, even though it's light blue. So now what we can do is we can easily go ahead and just use the, we can dynamically put in whatever color we want to put. So that's a plus point. So we could just go ahead and say BG, and then we could say it's going to be note dot color. We take a look back and nothing changes. Why? I think I should restart this. Still nothing changes. Let's take a look. Hello Adnan, how are you doing today? Interesting. Why this? Lag. Does it lag on your end? Right over here, it shows me the stream is excellent. But for some reason, it might be lagging on your end. Why is it that it works when I manually put it, but it does not work when I... Okay, fine. I guess I'll have to... We have blue. Then we have green. And let's remove this altogether. Fine. That was a bug in Next.js itself. But that's gone. This looks good, in my opinion. The red color is kind of off. Anyways, we could change something in this one. So if we have text primary content, that's a part of Tailwind. So all right, so I think now the stream works perfectly fine. It shows it works perfectly fine. I think the problem is because I stream in 60 FPS, it might not be that good. So next time I'm going to switch to 30 FPS. 6 people are viewing right now. We've been streaming from for the last 40 minutes. Time passes very fast. Okay, let's work on this red thingy. So basically what we can do is if I just remove this altogether, this is how it looks like. So what we can do is we could just say if node.color is red, we're going to put white, else we're going to put primary. Actually, let's just get rid of this altogether. I cannot switch to 30 FPS right now. I think I have to stop this stream, then start another one for that. So if it's red, we will say we'll set it to text white, and else we're going to set it to text primary content. What do you mean I'll give you a surprise? Interesting. Not right now, later on. If you don't know, guys, Adnan is a friend of mine, so he might be messing around a little bit sometimes. Okay. Right now this looks fine, but we also have to implement the creation somehow. So we have many colors in here. I think I should pick this one for the create button. I think this color palette looks really nice. So let's just go ahead and add this one. Actually, let's first of all commit these changes. So I'm going to say fetch, what is it? Fetch notes for each user. But at least we know that it will work. So I'm going to, I think this stream is going to end right now. It